If you're like me, you loved those Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls. But Michael Jordan would not have been successful in getting those championships if he didn't have, you know it, Scottie Pippen. It's very similar to you. You're a fantasy basketball sicko playing fantasy playoffs at this point of the season. So you know what you need? Oh yeah, you need Scottie Pippen as well, but not Scottie Pippen from the Bulls, Scottie Pippen from the Memphis Grizzlies. In this episode, we're going to talk about more waiver wire targets than we've spoken about all season, including one, Mr. Scottie Pippen Jr. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. If it's your first time here, I am Robin Marks, your personal fantasy basketball expert. I've spent time at NBC Roto World, also used to do a little bit of contributions at #basketball, and now I work for you. So before we jump into this massive, ridiculously long list of waiver wire targets, I want to announce the winner for our PSA 9 card giveaway. So we have a winner. They're going to get this PSA 9 LaMelo Ball rookie card. And the winner is, let me see if we can get a little drum roll in this bang. Let me get a drum roll. That's not a drum roll. Nope. Here we go. And the winner is from the University of YouTube, your man's in them, EW6145. So congratulations. Please do me a favor if you're hearing this, EW, shoot me an email at info@believeinfantasy.com with your mailing information, and we'll send that out to you. Now, let's jump right in. The first player we want to talk about for this waiver wire, massive waiver wire segment is your man's in them, Scottie Pippen Jr. Oh, baby. When I tell you, Scottie Pippen Jr. has been absolutely cooking with hot bacon grease. Even though Ja Morant miraculously ended up in the lineup, the Grizzlies fired their coach, then all of a sudden Ja Morant was healthy. It's just a lot of fishy stuff happening over there. But one thing that's not fishy is Scottie Pippen Jr.'s production. Your man over the last 7 days is averaging 24.3 minutes per game. Yes, 16.3 points per game. Come on. 6 rebounds a game. Keep cooking. 7.3 assists. And there's more. Buckle up your seatbelts. Here we go. Over the last 7 days, Scottie Pippen Jr. is averaging 2.3 steals per game. Let that sink in. To give you a little more context, Scottie Pippen Jr. on the 27th against OKC had 17, 10, and 7, 5 steals. 5 freaking steals. You know what we say. Top is off, boobies is out, hair blowing in the freaking wind. Your man Scottie Pippen Jr. is a must-add if he's available. And I'll also add for Memphis players for this week, for week 23 of the NBA season. Also, my apologies, week 24 of the NBA season. That is week 23 for ESPN and Fantrax and week 22 for Yahoo. Let me repeat that so there's no confusion. This is week 24 of the NBA season, according to the NBA calendar. ESPN Fantrax is week 23 and Yahoo is week 22. This is the week of March 31st through April 6th. If Scottie Pippen Jr. is on your waiver wire, he is a clear add. The Memphis Grizzlies have a back-to-back on the Monday and Tuesday, which increases his value tremendously. So make sure if he's available, you grab him quick, fast, and in a hurry. Before we talk about the next player, we want to talk to you a little bit about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more. For every game, every play, and every win, BetOnline, the game starts here. I got to run through this fast, guys, because I have a lot of players to talk about. And typically I just talk about players that I think are interesting because of this critical nature winding down, and people who are playing fantasy basketball right now, it is the hardest time to play fantasy basketball. Professionals will not recommend playing fantasy at this time of the season because it's so wonky. However, the waiver wire is more important now than it has ever been. So that's why I'm going super, super deep with this. So I talked about Memphis having a back-to-back. We're going to mention another Memphis player here. Your man's in him, Santi Aldama. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 25 minutes. Yes. 9 points. Yes. 5 rebounds. Come on. 3.3 assists. Nothing to write home about. The biggest thing about Santi Aldama is his availability right now. He's been pretty healthy. He's been pretty consistent. And more importantly, he's playing that back-to-back. So if you can't get a player like Scottie Pippen Jr., he's definitely an interesting alternative. I have another Memphis Grizzly player I want to talk about before we move on, and he's only rostered in 44.5% of leagues. Definitely like him a little better than Santi. I had an opportunity in a league that I'm in that goes to the end. Don't judge me. And I grabbed this guy over Santi Aldama from the Memphis Grizzlies. Your man's in him, Zach Edey. Zach Edey over the last 7 days averaging 21.7 minutes per game, 12.3 points. Yes. 7.3 rebounds. Come on. 1.7 assists and 1 steal per game. Okay. 1.3 blocks. Very valuable if he's available on your waiver wire. Definitely the type of player I am looking for. He's next up from the back-to-back teams on the Monday and Tuesday. We have Memphis, Orlando, and Chicago. I'm going to talk about some Orlando players really quick. This is my priority ad for available players, people that are widely available, only rostered in 12.2% of ESPN leagues. Your men's in them, Goga Badedze. Over the last 7, he's averaging 16.8 minutes per game. Not the craziest. 4.3 points and 7 rebounds. I'll take it. 2.3 assists, less than a steal and half a block a game. Nothing very sexy, right? But check this out in his most recent games. On the 29th against Sacramento, he put up 12 points and 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, right? So he's coming off of a really big game. And again, if he gets 18 to 20 minutes, his floor of 20 fantasy points is okay for me, especially if I'm going to get him on a back-to-back. You got to really look at it as a long game. It's not about what they're going to do night to night. How many points can you get out of that player for that one slot? The next player I'm also pretty high on from the Orlando Magic. Your man's in him, Anthony Black. Anthony Black over the last 7 days, averaging 27.8 minutes per game. Yes, 14.8 points. Come on. 4.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1 steal, and there's more. Listen up close. 1.3 blocks per game. Actually, I might like Anthony Black a little better than your man Goga. I might actually like him better. The next player we want to talk about is the last Magic player that I'm going to run down. It's your man's in him, Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter Jr. over the last 7 days, getting the minutes, 25.8 minutes per game, 10 points per game. Yes, 7 rebounds. Come on. 0.8 assists, not crazy, and nothing memorable with steals, but he is averaging 1 block per game over the last 7. So definitely somebody I'm trying to snatch up on that back-to-back if some of those other players aren't available. And the last player on this back-to-back that I'm going to recommend is your man, Matas Buzelis. He has been cooking with hot oxtail oil over the last 7 days. He's averaging 29 minutes per game, which is up from his season average of 17.9 minutes per game. 16.7 points per game over the last 7. Yes, 6.7 rebounds. Come on. 3 assists per game. He's cooking, y'all. 0.3 steals, nothing memorable, but 1 block per game. I don't give a shit, Sue Puppy. If your man Matas is available, I'm grabbing him. Another player I talked about from the Bulls was Kevin Huerter. Before this episode started, I got news that he is injured with a finger sprain, I believe. He might play. I would monitor that closely, but I'm not going to recommend him just because I'm not sure what's going to happen there. So not going to recommend Kevin Huerter. But I will recommend that you check out our Substack. If you love this community and you want to invest in what we are building, please consider becoming a paid subscriber for our Substack newsletter. Think of it like treating me to a coffee and a bagel once a month. Becoming a paid subscriber will grant you access to our MVP Discord channel, which is amazing, by the way. We have some crazy conversations. It is like fantasy basketball therapy. I love all the guys in that chat. Also, you get priority DM and email replies from me, priority Rate My Team videos, and most importantly, your support will help us keep this thing going for years to come. You don't have to pay anything to be a part of this community. Like, we're always going to do free content, but it does cost money to keep this thing going. So your support will help us to maintain this consistency and keep putting out the content. If you want to support, please visit BelieveInFantasy.com, enter your email, and select the level of support that works best for you. Now, I talked about the Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. There is a Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. I believe it's the Knicks. I'm not really interested in that. Really, I want to, because honestly, there are really no players that I'm really interested that are available, like the Precious Achuas of the world, the Mitch Robinsons, even Campaign. I don't want no parts of the Knicks right now. But what I do want a part of is that some of that ridiculous South Florida water. I'm talking about from the Miami Heat, your men's in them, Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware is cooking, y'all. When I tell you, Miami has a back-to-back on a Wednesday and Thursday. So these are teams that once you grab those players for the Monday and Tuesday, now on that Tuesday, this is the ninja trick. Many people don't do it. People are just kind of sleeping and dialing in, right? On the Tuesday tip-off, right? So when Tuesday tip-off jumps off, you can then start adding players for Wednesday. So I wouldn't wait until Wednesday to add people for Wednesday. Start as soon as tip-off goes and you see in your app that it adjusts. Don't go too early because sometimes the apps are delayed. So make sure you are clear that the games have locked in and you can start adding players for the next day. So now you can drop the Anthony Blacks, the Wendell Carters, all of those Memphis, Chicago, players, in Orlando players, you can drop them and start picking up some of these other guys. So over the last 7, Ware is averaging 27 minutes per game, 11.5 points, 11 rebounds, y'all. What? Where they do that at? 1.8 assists, 0.3 steals, but 1.3 blocks per game. Grab yourself some Khalil Ware. There's more. The back-to-back continues with your men's in them, Davion Mitchell. Over the last 7 days, Davion is averaging 34 minutes per game. Let that sink in. 11.5 points, yes. 2.8 rebounds, but lean in for this one, y'all. 7 assists per game. Come on, ma. 1.5 steals. Come on, ma. Your man is definitely a priority ad on that Wednesday and Thursday. Don't rush it. You don't want him on Monday. You want him on a Wednesday, Thursday, back-to-back. We got more. Also from the Miami Heat, Haywood Highsmith. Over the last 7 days, 33.3 minutes per game. He got them Alonzo Mourning numbers, y'all. Come on, man. 7.8 points per game over the last 7. 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals per game. Your man is cooking with hot bacon grease. Now, these guys, I've been talking about them all offseason, all season. The Washington Wizards have been like the fantasy buzz down the stretch. Alex Sarr, if he's available. He might not be available if you're in a competitive league or a larger league, like if you're in a 12-team league, chances are he won't be there. But if you're in a 10 or an 8, he might be available. Only rostered in 43.2% of ESPN leagues over the last 7. 29 minutes per game. Yes, 18.5 points. Come on. 6.8 rebounds. There's more. 1.5 assists. 0.8 steals. But check this out. You're not ready for this. Over the last 7 games, Alex Sarr is averaging 2.3 blocks per game. Standing on business. Your man is not playing. I got a couple other Wizards who are also on that back-to-back for the Wednesday and Thursday back-to-back. We got Bub Carrington over the last 7, averaging 28 minutes per game, 11.8 points, 5.8 rebounds, 5 assists. That's a really balanced attack. Love that from Bub. Then we have also from the Washington Wizards, Justin Champagnie, only rostered in 2.8% of ESPN leagues over the last 7, 23.3 minutes per game. Yes, 10 points per game. Come on, 7.8 rebounds. Yes, 1.3 assists, 0.8 steals, and a half a block a game. There's one more Wizards player, and this guy, honestly, I've had kind of an up and down journey with him this week. I had him on a couple of rosters, and he stunk up the joint a little bit. I was a little like, what the frick is happening? Like, he stunk up the joint just a little bit for me, but he has 2 games. So for me, let's say he wets the bed on the first game and does 5 points, and the next game he does 30. You got 40 points total. So for me, availability is more important than his productivity in this case, as long as he doesn't wet the bed 2 games in a row. Excuse me. Over the last 7 days, Tristan Vucevic is averaging 21.5 minutes per game, 10 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.3 steals, 1.3 blocks per game. Again, burned me this week a little bit. I might be able to pull off the victory, even though he stunk up the joint on one of the games that he played for me. I want to actually take a look. Yes, it was on the 27th of March against Indiana. He went for 4 points. Yuck. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers. You know what that smells like? Hot dog water with the bratwurst residue. Dumpster Juiceville. Your man is stinking up the joint. Stinking it up. What you talking about? Okay, so that is all. Those are all of the players that I'm going to recommend for that Wednesday and Thursday back-to-back. I have another grouping of players that I want to talk about. It is the group of players from the Dallas Mavericks, Detroit Pistons, and LA Clippers who are playing the Friday-Saturday back-to-back. So now, after those Thursday guys finish, now I'm at Thursday tip-off. As soon as the ball tips off, I'm trying to secure some of these players. The first guy I want to talk about is probably the one I'm the most interested in, and he is going off down the stretch from the Detroit Pistons. Ausar Thompson. Over the last 7 days, Ausar is averaging 21.3 minutes per game. Yes, 10.8 points. Come on. 5 rebounds. 1.8 assists. Not bad, but check this out. 1 steal and 1 block. Grab yourself some Ausar Thompson. Also from the Detroit Pistons, Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley only rostered in 34.4% of ESPN leagues over the last 7 days. 32 minutes per game. Yes, 18 points per game. What? Fire. 3.3 rebounds, not bad. 2.3 assists, a half a steal a game. He is a scoring machine. If you're on a points league, definitely the type of player you want on your squad. Not as excited about this guy, but I still want to talk about him because he will be available and he is playing a back-to-back on that Friday and Saturday. Isaiah Stewart. Bloody eye, punch you in the thigh. Only averaging 16.8 minutes per game over the last 7. That's not sexy. 6.8 points, not bad. 4.3 rebounds, 1.5 assists, about 1.5 blocks per game. If you're in a category league, it might be worth it if you're trying to just sneak in a few extra blocks. For a points league, definitely worth my time if he's the one that's available. If I'm in a 12 or 14-team league that's playing next week, it's likely your finals or your semifinals. Definitely your semifinals, unless you're in one of those 2-week championships, which is also quite crazy, but it's happening a lot. I would consider grabbing him. The next guy from the Detroit Pistons I'm more interested in, Tim Hardaway Jr. He is a freaking microwave scorer. Just like Vinny, the microwave Johnson from the bad boy Pistons days, Tim Hardaway can come off the bench quick, fast, and in a hurry and put up some points. You probably know Cade Cunningham is banged up right now, so Tim Hardaway is picking up the slack and getting tons of usage, tons of time on the floor, and with that following up with production. Over the last 7 days, averaging 24 minutes per game, 17.7 points per game. Let that sink in. 2 rebounds a game, 2.3 assists, and nothing memorable in terms of defensive stats. But the scoring is there. If you're in a points league, definitely something you cannot ignore. Now we're going to switch it up. The next team that's playing a back-to-back on the Friday and Saturday, the cursed Dallas Mavericks, suffering from the Luka Doncic curse, which will follow them for eternity. Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie might be a league winner. I am letting you know. I don't know what the statistics are, but if you won a fantasy championship, let me know in the comments. Did you have Spencer Dinwiddie on your squad? Because he has been that type of player down the stretch. Only rostered in 35.6% of ESPN leagues. Over the last 7 days, averaging 31.3 points, minutes per game. 31.3 minutes per game, 12.5 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 8.5 assists. Come on, man. 1.5 steals, yes, and a little less than a block a game. Spencer Dinwiddie, if he's available, he needs to be on a roster immediately. Next up from the Dallas Mavericks, Brandon Williams. Definitely interested in grabbing him off the waiver wire. Over the last 7, 22.5 minutes per game, 15.8 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 4 assists, 1.5 steals per game. Definitely an option we want to look at. Now, this might be my favorite option from this Friday, Saturday back-to-back. Kai Jones. When I tell you, chances are, if you playing in a competitive league, somebody is saving him. But if you use this strategy right and grab these players for this back-to-back, he might be available on that Thursday tip-off. You want to grab him off the waiver wire quick. Check this out. Over the last 7 days, Kai Jones is averaging 22.5 minutes per game. Yes, 10.3 points. Come on. 7.3 rebounds, and there's more. 1.3 assists, not bad, but 1.5 steals per game. 1 block per game. Your man is cooking. Let me just unpack that. His last game on the 29th against Chicago, 31 minutes, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and check this out. 4 steals per game. What? There's more. He also added 2 blocks that same game with 0 turnovers. See, he's the type of player you want to take a look at. I got one player from the LA Clippers, and then we're going to go into our world famous rapid fire waiver wire segment from the Los Angeles Clippers. Your man's in them. Chris Dunn. Over the last 7 days, Chris Dunn is averaging 24.8 minutes per game, 9.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1 steal per game. Again, definitely somebody I'm looking at for that back-to-back, that Friday, Saturday back-to-back. Before we jump into the rapid-fire waiver wire, I want to give you a few updates. First big update for next week's show, which is the show that's going to be recorded typically on the Sunday night, which for us is the 6th. I'm going on vacation with my family that day. So most likely I'm going to pre-record something and get it out to you guys either on Monday morning or on Sunday night. But just wanted to let you know there will not be a live stream next week. On the 13th, which is the following Sunday, it will be our last live stream of the fantasy basketball season. We'll do something special, maybe talk about some awards and give you some last minute information, but definitely the 13th is going to be our last show of the season. Next update, I want to make sure you guys remember that we are really leaning into the written content on our Substack newsletter. We have a very active community on our email list. We have about 44% of you guys who open up every single one of our emails, which is a great number, and we want to keep that going. So what we did was we decided to bring some friends along for the ride. Noah Rubin from NBC Sports Roto World, one of my former colleagues, but also one of my buddies in the fantasy basketball space, decided to join us and support us, writing a weekly article. We also have Fantasy Ball 365, who is one of the fastest growing fantasy basketball content creators on Twitter. He is writing a weekly article. And of course, we have Fantasy Basketball Insider, who is very active on Instagram, one of the best content creators on Instagram for fantasy basketball. He creates some really cool images, gives some really good takes, and he will be writing a weekly column as well. If you want to join us, we're still looking for one more writer. So if you're interested in exploring your fantasy sports writing career, please give me an email at info@believeInFantasy.com. That's Believe, BLEAV, in fantasy.com. Now, quick shout out to the MVP Discord, ASAP Corey, Arches, Chinasco, Drot, Flint Tropics, Jeff. Of course, we cannot do this without our administrator, Ant Tech. Big respect to you, my brother. And of course, our experts, Noah Rubin, Ben, and Nick from our writing squad. Now, the rapid fire waiver wire with no further ado. Now, again, if it's your first time here, all of the names that I gave you at the beginning of the show are the names that I recommend. Many of the names that I'm going to say, it's because I do tons of research before doing this show. I take my takes. I look at other people's takes. These are names that I didn't want to put on my list, but names that are out there, so I want to make sure you know these are people you want to check for as well. Donovan Clingan, maybe. Scoot Henderson, maybe. Gary Trent Jr., maybe. Kevin Porter Jr., maybe. Keon Ellis, yes. Kyle Filipowski, maybe. Jamal Sheed, I need to see what happens with the health in the backcourt, maybe. Justin Edwards, yes. Dylan Brooks, maybe. Gershon Yabusele, he is banged up right now. I'm going to give him a maybe. Peyton Watson, emphatic, yes. Almost put him in my feature section, but so many people have talked about him, I didn't want to do that. Zaire Williams, maybe. Brandon Pajimski, maybe. A lot of maybes here. Ryan Dunn, yes. Ty Jerome. Somebody had Ty Jerome on their list. Just so you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they don't play a game until Wednesday, I believe. So they have a very slow start to their week. I'm staying away from Ty Jerome unless it's later on in the week. A.J. Johnson, a great name in theory. I picked him up. He burned me last week. I think he gave me a dud, 0 fantasy points. But he might give you something, especially because he has a back-to-back. Jeff Doughton, I'm still doubting on Doughton a little bit, but I'm going to give him a maybe. Do me a big favor. Drop your questions in the YouTube version of this episode. To support you, I will be responding to every single comment. If you have more than one question or a follow-up question, make sure you start a new thread and ask a new question. You can just be like, hey, Robin, I dropped that one. Don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy.